Listen on the Sactown Sports app.
Got to give a shout out to Whitey Gleason. Just got this text, and you know how it is. I was on Crosstalk, and it's not breaking news. It's similar to what we heard from Mark Stein. No, it's not. It's similar to what we heard from Mark Stein because Mark Stein and Jake Fischer, they work together, okay, on the Stein line. So this came out about an hour ago, and Jake Fischer is reporting that Devin Carter is more likely to be moved to facilitate Russell Westbrook signing than Malik Monk. Now, if you remember the beginning of the week, we had this from Mark Stein where he said Malik Monk's been a model citizen, all that jazz, right?
Whatever that was.
It was the baby. No, it wasn't like that. Okay, I was just trying to be nice. Okay, I was just trying to be nice, and it was a misunderstanding. Okay,
and he embodies Sacramento.
And he embodies Sacramento, which also kind of meant that the Kuminga thing was cooked, to be honest. That's how we took it, and Brett Siegel joined us in 30 minutes to break all this down. So there were a lot of ways you could take the timing of Mark Stein's report and where he could have gotten this information. Now we're seeing from Jake Fischer something very similar and almost a follow-up to what Mark Stein said, because Mark Stein says other avenues to bring in Russell Westbrook. Now Jake Fischer is expanding on that, saying those other avenues could be Devin Carter. So Kyle and I, just during the break, were playing around with that conversation we had about a month or so ago. Just swap Dalton Connect for Devin Carter. If the Lakers would be into that, I don't know. But I am curious. Number one, you're giving up on Devin Carter. And I'm not going to try to sit here and say that I've been a Devin Carter aficionado and I'm the Devin Carter cheerleader. I'm not saying that. But the reality is you are giving up on Devin Carter at 23 years old for Russell Westbrook. I do think you can have a take and we had this take earlier this week. If you're Alan Stiles, and whether you get Dalton Connect or not, which is who you initially wanted, you can be Alan. You can have the Alan Stiles take and say, I'm not that high on Devin Carter, but I don't know that I want to lose Devin Carter for a year of Russell Westbrook.
And only get back 2 seconds for him.
So you're thinking it would be, well, what do you mean 2 seconds?
Well, what are you getting back in a trade for Devin Carter?
Oh, yes, for Devin Carter. Yeah, I don't know. I thought obviously Chris Boucher just got signed, so it wouldn't be. But is it a 4 that's better than Dario Saric? Well, I don't know.
Because here's the situation, right? Devin Carter only makes like $2-point-something million, so you can't match salaries with any player that's not on a minimum contract. Right? So you're either getting another person who's on a rookie deal that's flamed out with another team, a guy on basically a minimum contract, or you're just trading him for picks. And at this point, we talked about, I can't remember which story it was, that was like, if we redrafted right now, Devin Carter would not be a top 20 pick,
yes,
right? So
might have been Sam Vecini.
Yeah. And so if we just take that at face value, we already know that draft picks, again, I don't want to compare players to cars, but like draft picks similar to used cars, once you make the pick, they inherently have less value than a future draft pick. So if Devin Carter's not getting moved for a top 20 protected first round pick right now, he's essentially getting moved for 2 second rounders.
Yeah. And
if you're the Kings, why would you give up on Devin Carter, to your point, for 1 season of 36-year-old Russell Westbrook?
The only way I'm doing this is if you're taking a flyer on another young player that, like you said, somebody else has given up on, that fits the model of what the NBA is doing these days. Yeah, if it's, and it could be, they don't have to be 6'8", 6'9", anything like that, or Olivier Maxence Prosper, somebody like that. Maybe that could work. I don't know how much Olivier's getting paid, but that's something like that. Okay, but for 2 seconds for a year of Russell Westbrook, that is making me scratch my head. And I'm not even the biggest Devin Carter guy. It's not that I was the biggest Devin Carter guy. I just haven't really seen him play. I wasn't watching his tape because I didn't think they'd draft a guard. Then they drafted a guard and he was injured. So I don't really know that much about Devin Carter outside of what we've seen. And he's shown a couple flashes. And even myself, I'm not sure about moving off of Devin Carter and we don't even know if it's two. We don't know, right? A couple seconds, maybe, and for a year of Russell Westbrook.
Well, we talked about it earlier too. Cam Whitmore went for 2 seconds, and he is.
So how in the world is Devin Carter going to go for 2 seconds?
It's tough. That's why I said earlier this week when we were talking about Mark Stein's report that they're moving on from Monk. At this point, I'm not saying you don't have to reevaluate in a few months, but at this point, you might be better off just having Devin Carter sit on the bench and go play in Stockton than just giving up on him for a second-round pick. If his value truly is this low by the combination of injuries, age, everything else, if his value truly is that low, then you're just better off having him sit on the bench and maybe earn his keep if someone gets hurt.
That's because you're still. We're going to take this call from Sam, but you still have Malik Monk, so you're still having a bunch of dudes fight over guard playing time. 916-339-1140. Let's talk to Sam, who wants to talk Vivek, as I gave him, some flowers in the first segment. What's up, Sam? What you got for us?
All right. Well, before I get underway, I'm going to think to myself, does Monk has more upside currently than what Devin Carter may have upside? Because I'm not sure if Devin Carter's peak is going to be much more than what we see. So that's yet to see.
Sure.
Number one, people ask the question. I'm going to answer 3 questions if I'm an owner. So I go by the Sacramento Kings for an example. First question is why did you buy the Kings? Well, my answer is going to be because I can and I have the money.
Right. Number
two, are you going to meddle with the Kings' affairs? And go back to answer number 1. Number 3, if I see a $300 million player, you don't bet that I'm not going to be questioning what's going on. Have a good day, and hopefully that answered all the questions you may have in the future.
Thanks for the call, Sam. Appreciate it. Yeah, and I heard this saying, and I go back to it often, about not being that hard, depending on what you're talking about here. But if you've never walked in someone's specific shoes, trying to at least keep that at the forefront when you think about these things, right? It's easy to say, I would just be an owner and I wouldn't touch anything, right? But then if you were in that situation, who knows? You've never been in that situation. You'd like to think that you would handle things a certain way, but we don't know because most of us won't be in that situation. So I hear what Sam has to say, and that's why, in my opinion, look, we can be hard on them in certain regards when it's necessary, but in others, just make sure that it's a balance. And for me, I thought it was cool. I mean, he put it on his Instagram, Dennis Schroeder hanging out there, and for Eurobasket, I think that is a cool thing for an owner to do. That has nothing to do with how I feel about some of the other moves that were made and some of the reports and I guess theories that he was behind. Vivek was behind some of the moves that the Kings have made, more so than the front office and the GMs and the assistant GMs and the people that he hired to make those decisions. Plenty of text to read through about this Devin Carter stuff that I see. A lot of people are okay with it. And who would have thought today, of all days, on a Throw It Down Thursday, who would have thought I would be the one defending Devin Carter and keeping him on the Sacramento Kings? I'm up against all of y'all right now, but I love it. 916-339-1140. Let's continue the conversation. Also, let's discuss the idea that the Bucks are getting closer to making a call for DeMar DeRozan. Now, Southside.